Hey, folks, this clip is brought to you by Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey from Logsdale Distillery. Make your own luck, just like Tennessee football's fast paced Rattle and Snap offense with Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey. But I thought it was a great point. I mean, I think that's true. Like, you can really tell that Heupel's just like sticking in the system. He's running the same place constantly and just doing the same thing. And it just feels like you're sort of beating yourself over the head when you could maybe be switching things up, trying to, like the one that I pointed to where I think there's a real moment that's being missed of where you could do something creative or different is bringing in D Williams and just trying something like something there where you can spread out and have more weapons, especially now that Dante Thornton's out. But you combine D Williams with Squirrel, with Jalen Wright, with Dylan Sampson out there. That's not a bad set of athletes. And there's just nothing really happening outside of just that system. He's going to run that system, and it might be to a fault.
With D, I'm with you. I'm like, how hard is it? I know this offense is supposed to be hard to learn, but honestly, they haven't been getting going with the tempo that many times this season. There's been lots of checks to the sidelines when they, try to adjust the play based on what they see. How hard is it to run a screen pass, an end around, a slant, an in route, just something where he gets the ball in the middle of the field and you give him a chance to make some guys miss? It's not, it's not complicated routes that you're asking him to run in those situations, and he doesn't have to be on the field every single down. I don't know if they don't trust his blocking in certain situations or what it is, but he's a dangerous playmaker, and certainly getting the ball in his hands would be smart. But going back to the being stubborn thing with the offense, we've definitely seen that where we feel like he needs to evolve a little bit. But I think that even goes to personnel to some extent, because if you think about with Joe Milton, I think the biggest mistake that Heupel made going into this season was kind of just hitching everything to Milton, knowing that, like, we gave him the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, he's 6th year, he is what he is. I don't think anybody's going to say that there's some ceiling he hasn't reached yet at this point. We've seen the field awareness. We've seen kind of who he is. He's incredible physical talent, but just isn't as savvy as a Hendon Hooker or some of these other SEC quarterbacks. Other SEC coaches have been in situations where they had more than one other quarterback on their roster. Brian Kelly, when he came to LSU, he had Max Johnson. He had Garrett Nussmeier. He still went and got Jaden Daniels from Arizona State, which is a guy that had not put up big numbers, and people were kind of like, what's the deal here? He probably isn't going to start over Max Johnson or Nussmeier, either one who had played some at LSU. And obviously he's one of the best players in the nation. I mean, that was a brilliant move by Kelly. Even Lane Kiffin has went out and got three scholarship quarterbacks on his roster that have come from the portal. I don't know, several that he's went and got even when he had guys. Saban, had a couple on the roster, still went and got a guy from Notre Dame. That hasn't really worked out. But the point remains that, like, you can't just hitch yourself to one guy that doesn't have that much SEC starting experience. And even then, knowing that there were some questions about him dating back to his time at Michigan, like, that feels like such a huge misstep now in retrospect. I mean, that was not, you weren't really giving yourself an out there when your only other option was a true freshman and Nico. And I'm not really advocating for that, especially at this point in the season, as you really don't have much benefit. Seeing Nico, he needs to add a little bit of weight. You don't want him getting just destroyed out there, especially against Georgia. As savvy as he does seem to be on the field, I don't know if that's the best situation, but just looking back, that seems like such a miscue by Heupel and the staff, and hopefully they learn from that moving forward, because you just can't always assume that these quarterbacks that come in are going to be, who you think they are. Sometimes you got to get a guy from the portal that you kind of seen play some college football, and you can know what to expect a little bit. I thought Kelly and Kiffin had a better idea on that than Heupel.
Few things go better with a Tennessee sports victory than an awesome whiskey. And actually, me and Jonathan Crompton had a drink of whiskey during the postgame show of every football win this past season. And more specifically, we had Rattle and Snap Tennessee Select Straight Whiskey. You can see it right there behind me. Logsdale Distillery has released a new Tennessee whiskey product line called Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey, named after a long-forgotten game of chance. Rattle and Snap is a whiskey for those who make their own luck. There's a 4-year and an 8-year version of Rattle and Snap whiskey, and actually, this one behind me is the 4-year version. right here. It's perfect for making your favorite whiskey cocktails or just drinking neat. It's really great stuff. And I mean, you can see it there. The bottle looks great too. You can find Rattle and Snap right now in stores across Tennessee, and Rattle and Snap is also available in Kentucky, Indiana, and Mississippi. So run, don't walk to get yourself some Rattle and Snap whiskey. And follow Rattle and Snap on Instagram at Rattle and Snap Whiskey. That is Rattle and Snap Tennessee Select Straight Whiskey.
I agree. And I think it was Greg and Papa J here in the comments. They were going back and forth a little bit about Joe Milton and should Nico play. I agree with you. Just let's not, get him. If you're getting like this coming week, if you're getting blasted by Georgia, yeah, throw him in the game. Or if you're running it up on Vandy in a week, absolutely get him in the game. No qualms about that at all. But to start him in this spot against the number one team in America, who frankly has the potential to push your offensive line around, no. In my personal opinion, that would not be a cogent decision on Heupel's part. And I absolutely get it. I know that it's kind of two camps where it's sort of us, where we're saying this season, at least in a championship sense, is a lost cause now. So let's just keep Joe. And then there's another side that says this season is kind of a lost cause now for a championship. So let's just see Nico. And it's two different things. I get it. I just, save him for next year. Put some, feed the kid and put some weight on, and then we'll approach next season. But yeah, the theme of this offseason is going to be transfer portal. You got to go to the transfer portal. You got to get that depth, and then paying some of these guys that you really want to stay. Give these boys some NIL deals. Make sure that they don't transfer or go to the NFL if they have another year of eligibility. I mean, you got to make sure that you keep this roster together as much as possible with the guys that you want. I mean, some of them maybe you could shave off. It just depends. But
if you Ben Hall's comment here talking about we said all offseason that no one was going to come with Joe and Nico on the roster. That's true to the extent where no one was going to come be a backup to Joe with Nico that was younger. I'm saying they should have went and got somebody that could compete with Joe for the starting job, like a Sam Hartman when he was available. Go give him whatever you had to give him to try to get him to come, or anybody in that realm. And look, if they're a gamer and they see Joe Milton's tape, they think they can beat him out. Like they'll come and they'll go for it. Like it happened at Ole Miss. It happened at LSU. Why can't it happen at Tennessee? I was looking more for like a grad transfer that's trying to go somewhere and build a case for the NFL draft. Even one of those LSU guys. I mean, some of them, Max Johnson went to Texas A&M. I've already seen him there. So these guys are moving around and they're not afraid to go somewhere where there is another quarterback. I was advocating for somebody to go compete with Milton going into the season. I think just anointing Milton as the starter going in retrospect was a mistake. And I know that's easy to say now, now that we've seen how the season unfolded, but
yeah,
just seeing how the other SEC programs have approached it, it's not that shocking that it kind of came to this.